Now, India-Italy relationship have firmed up in last few years in many ways. In fact, the Indian Prime Minister was in Rome earlier this year, where several announcements were made. With me is the Ambassador of Italy to talk about this relationship. Your Excellency, welcome to WION. It's always a pleasure to have conversations with you. And let me start with the basic aspect of this relationship. How do you see relationship currently? Where does the relationship stand as of now?
Well, I see a great momentum witnessed by the fact that we elevated the label of the relationship to a special strategic partnership, because indeed it is special, the intensity with which we have proceeded in the last 2 or 3 years, since the conclusion of a joint action plan covering from 2025 to 2029. There has been really an intensified dialogue at all levels, in all sectors, because that roadmap identifies the main areas of collaboration, starting with the political dialogue, of course, hinging on the economic, the economic dimension, but also defense, space, culture, energy, security, connectivity, professional mobility, and all the people to people, and science and technology. So I think that the degree of intensity, also the exchange of visits, I mean, in just a couple of years, the Deputy Prime Minister came twice here. The same did the Minister of Industry, the Defense Minister, after a long time, visited Delhi. The Deputy Minister of Transportation, the Minister of University and Research. You see that these are ministers presiding over the most interesting and promising avenues of collaboration. So we are also developing a pretty good dialogue at parliamentary level, and I hope that the creation of these friendship groups in the parliament, we have already invited the Indian group to Italy, can also contribute to this dialogue.
Several areas of conversation happening, but it looks like it's also leadership driven as well. In fact, both the leaders have been meeting with each other, last being just few weeks ago when the Indian Prime Minister had traveled to Rome. So essentially, how do you see the outcome of that visit?
But I think that the leadership is important, is very important in contemporary politics. So of course is a powerful driver, but I think that the strength of our relationship is in the fact that we is a genuine win-win. So there are mutual interests and shared priorities and convergences. The structural ones, of course, we have democracies, and so we are interested in resilient and friendly value chains. We are peninsulas, and so we are interested in connectivity and boosting the exports. And you are developing a manufacturing base more and more, and we are an industrial powerhouse, the second in Europe. We have both industrial know-how and technologies to contribute, and you have a huge market. So I think chemistry is very important, and it is #melody, but is important to hinge on these objective convergences.
You mentioned about melody. Both leaders have been able to drive the social media conversations a lot. In fact, both the leaders, when they met on the sidelines of the G7 summit, they talked about how popular they are on Instagram.
Yes. This is very important to make people more aware of the importance of the relationship with the other. I think that we have to complement that with concrete results, and the two leaders decided to have a monitoring mechanism for the joint strategic action plan, and to have also an action of public diplomacy, in the sense that to enhance the knowledge and the awareness of India in Italy and vice versa, of Italy in India, because there are many aspects that are still unknown to common people, which is important to tackle and address.
Let's break down the various aspects of the relationship, the trade, defense, IMEC, Indo-Pacific. Let me start with trade first.
Innovation.
And innovation, of course. Let me start with trade first. Now, we know that both sides have said that they aim to double the trade between the two countries. And one of the key focus areas is the EU-India FTA as well. Progress has been going. What's the Italian view when it comes to FTA? Do you think it will be concluded by December? It will be ready by December? And what are the benefits for the Italian businesses from this FTA? And what are the benefits for Indian businesses for this FTA when it comes to both the countries?
So FTA, I think that there is a general advantage that is beyond goods and trade, that is the perception. The perception of a country like ours, made of small and medium enterprises, India is a great potential, is the huge market, but there are too high trade barriers. And these discourages, in general, companies from coming and even investing. So it's detrimental not only to our exports, but also to the attraction of investments to India. I think that one of the big objectives of FTA is to change this pattern and to make life easier for companies. And then, of course, there are specific sectors. For example, from our point of view, we are talking about machinery. 40% of our export is in machinery, and we cover the whole range from what is called the industry, advanced manufacturing, Industry 4.0, to precision agriculture. And so I think that can be very beneficial to India. Auto components, once again, is a win-win, because we have an incredible value chain, but that is undergoing a difficult period because of the shrinking car-making industry in Europe, mainly in Italy and in Germany. Here, there is a growing car industry. And then you have chemicals, and then you have pharmaceuticals, and then you have even agri-food. And the important aspect is that this FTA leaves out the potential irritants, and at the same time is quite substantive, because 95% of the sectors are liberalized. So in our case, for example, wine, even if with a time schedule, but wine, pasta, and olive oil, that is very good for our industry, and vice versa. So is an advantage of general perception that can change the pattern and make trade a driver for investment. And there is an actual roadmap that will see us working, focusing on the sectors more benefited by FTA. That said, not the whole. Yes, we wish and we are working to conclude these by the end of the year. And so to make it possible for the agreement to enter into force next year. Second, is not the entire picture, because there is an issue of investment protection, and the agreement should be finalized. And there are the non-tariff barriers. So we have to be aware not to being stuck in the trap of being glad with the slogan, FTA is done, and look at what at the actual enablers. And of course, quality control orders are a problem, not only for us, but are a problem also for the Indian value chain, because certain goods, if not, they are not provided, they can disrupt the value chain of your own companies that complained. So I think that addressing these issues is also important to make FTA a real real opportunity and a game changer. Then the two prime ministers set an objective of 20 billion euro trade volume by 2029. That is the end of this joint action plan. So we will work hard on both sides to make it possible to make the relation grow and also be more balanced. And the same applies to investments, because there is a big asymmetry. We have more investments, and so we will try to attract more investments in Indian investments in Italy,
so
both industrial and financial.
So quite an optimistic picture when it comes to the trading relationship, but defense is another growing element of the relationship. Your defense minister was here in India. India is looking for upping its defense manufacturing, where Italy can play an important role. In the past, there have been few hiccups as well, which it looks like have been smoothened out. How can Italy help in India's Make in India defense and help India fuel or support its ambition when it comes to defense?
You know, we signed, and that was turning page. We signed a defense cooperation agreement in 2023. And then now with the visit of the Minister of Defense, we adopted, and that was announced by the two prime ministers, we adopted the joint declaration and a roadmap. This is mainly an industrial roadmap to foster co-design, co-development and co-production projects, convinced as we are that once again is a win-win. Why? Because you want to develop a greater defense industry. We have cutting-edge technologies, and we are also interested in the collaborations, because with India we can do things. We can go bigger, faster, and cheaper if you want. So we can enhance our productive capacity. We can speed up the production processes, and we can, of course, enjoy the economies of scale that such a huge market allows. So I think it's a win-win, and this is accompanied by even more intense dialogue. We have a joint defense committee, we have a military cooperation group, we will have a structured dialogue at high level. The chief of Air Force recently visited India, and they discussed interforce exercise, they discussed interforce courses, exchange of officers. This was discussed also by the two prime ministers, and so we will make more easier and more frequent the the working together. We only in the last I think 2 years we had 6 port calls in Indian ports, and so we are trying to intensify. We are also going back to economy. We are also providing some tools. It's not just establishing the objectives, but we are creating tools to favor the accomplishment of these objectives. I'll give you 2 examples, 3. One, we have opened an office of CIMEST. CIMEST is our joint stock company, favoring both market access for Italian companies in India and taking equity in joint ventures to favor joint ventures. So we established a €500 million financing facility dedicated to India. Then we have SACE, which is the export credit agency, that, as I tried to explain, is not just export, because export is a driver for investments. And so SACE is guaranteeing loans contracted by Indian buyers for more than €2 billion in all sectors, especially technologies and sustainable technologies. And this fosters the dialogue and then collaboration with the practical effects that we are watching. And the third is the Trade Commission that is favoring more and more the presence of Italian companies in Indian fairs, and vice versa, is favoring the incoming of Indian companies in our fairs. We are trying to foster also the dialogue between fairs. We have an Indo-Italian Chamber of Commerce that has more than 700 members, but the total amount of they calculate that the total amount of Italian companies operating in India in different formats is over 1,000. So we are growing in these relations. Of course, defense is also a big chunk of it, because we have companies and technologies in sectors like helicopters, ships, electronic warfare, and so on and so forth.
So a lot is happening when it comes to trade and defense.
And defense and space.
And space as well.
Space.
I was coming to that point because I think there was an announcement during Prime Minister's visit.
Space, because I mean, we included India in a special dialogue that we bilaterally entertained with some very reliable and very close partners, the US, UK, and Japan. We did realize a first business mission to India with the companies from Leonardo and even a much smaller one, but very specialized. We did organize a reverse mission of Indian companies to Venice, Milan, Turin in May, and we started this dialogue that includes, yes, the business dimension, but also the interagency dimension, ISRO and the homologue ASI, and the multilateral dimension. Italy is holding the presidency of COPUOS, the committee in the United Nations on space. So we can advance also some common interest, even in the
anything practically you're looking at when it comes to space cooperation, because India is doing a lot when it comes to space.
We are good in the 3 main domains: low orbit, so the half of the modules of the International Space Stations are designed made in Italy, the lunar program, and the Mars program. So I think that we can collaborate in all these dimensions. Also, so space exploration, basically. In the satellite industry, we need also launching bases to diversify, so we are very much interested in collaborating with India. And also in Earth observation, we are quite strong in that. And this opens up to an array of different services, from the surveillance of the advancement of big infrastructure works to precision agriculture and so on and so forth. So I think that there are many sectors also in space.
You mentioned about port calls being made to India. Now, we know Indo-Pacific is one area where India and Italy are looking forward to on cooperation. What next is in store for Italy in the Indo-Pacific? How do you plan to cooperate with India to expand yourself in this domain, which is one of the most populated, high growth areas of the planet?
The defense collaboration we were talking about is at the core of this, because we want to enhance this collaboration. For example, we did have joint exercises with our carrier strike group with the aircraft Cavour. So this is a practical outcome, and other examples will come. There is another ship coming also in the next months. We do participate in the Fusion Information Center in Gurgaon, and we plan to be more and more, which is unprecedented, frankly speaking, more and more present in the Indo-Pacific. But this is because, once again, is based on our shared interests. We are interested in stability and in an open and free routes, especially on the sea. And we are the strongest supporters of the IMEC vision because of that. So we think that there is, there is a common space that we could call Indo-Mediterranean, that is the link between two vital basins for our respective nations, because we are at the center of Mediterranean. You gave the name to an ocean. So I think that is, and also the visit of the recent mission of Prime Minister Modi demonstrates how important and crucial is the East Act policy. So visited Indonesia, Australia, New Zealand. He received the Prime Minister of Japan that had previously visited in June Rome after another meeting that President Meloni had in Tokyo at the beginning of this year. So there is an intense dialogue, and there is also a common feeling and common interest between these actors. I see also a big synergy between Italy, India, and Japan.
You gave a nice word. I'm pretty sure it must have existed, but I'm hearing for the first time Indo-Mediterranean and how both sides can cooperate. In fact, India has been trying to engage much more in the Mediterranean. But you mentioned about IMEC as well. Now, where do you see the future of IMEC? Because there is a lot of pessimism around it, that because of the conflict, not that the elements are, the countries who are part of it are not keen. We know that all the countries have backed it. But with this conflict, do you think that there is any progress happening in next few years?
I am not optimistic at all costs, but I think that I do think that visions are important, because otherwise one is remains stuck in the status quo. I think that is important to make I mean, some project a vision and not a utopia, so not to be unrealistic. I think that IMEC is a great vision, and paradoxically, the ongoing conflict, of course, makes life much more complicated to such a project, but at the same time demonstrates the necessity for that, in the sense of the necessity for alternative routes, and the necessity, once peace is re-established, to reinforce this peace with enablers and stabilizers. And there isn't a more effective enabler such as shared prosperity. I think that in the meantime, while pursuing the grand vision, we have to work. We have started to do that. We nominated a couple of years ago, at least, a special envoy for IMEC that is constantly interacting with the stakeholders. We convened a big forum, especially business forum, to showcase to our public, but mainly private sectors, what is the potential and the opportunity for this, both in infrastructure, shipping, goods. We are almost completing a very visionary project that is putting the cable underwater, linking Mumbai to Genoa, to Italy. Which means having a high-speed data highway, bringing the data, not only goods. We are in the 21st century, and this is done by an Italian company. We have signed. There were different MOUs signed during the visit of the Prime Minister to Rome: agriculture, critical minerals, defense, culture, nurses, and we also had an MOU on ports collaboration. So we want to exchange more and more on ports, and we want to work on a very practical endeavor that is creating a fast-track corridor, having quicker and digitalized customs procedure, making the life easier for containers and for shipping companies. You pre-clear at the port of origin a container with an e-seal. You are able to track the goods along the journey. You don't need paperwork anymore. And when the container arrives to Italy, you can just check and it's ready to go, either in Italy or in Europe. And we are working, we are convinced that this is not a corridor. It's called a corridor, but it's not a point-to-point initiative. It should be, and it must be, a network. We propose Trieste because of history and geography. History because it was the natural port. History is always important. IMEC existed 2,000 years ago. So it's not a utopia. It's something that existed when in 6 weeks with the monsoon you could reach Egypt, that was Rome. And so ancient Rome was already trading with India. And is important because Trieste was the port of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, so the heart of Europe, if you want. Why? Because it's the highest one, is the northern most high point in the high Adriatic, and so as IMEC is implies an intermodal, shipping, because you go by railway and you go by ship. Once you have loaded the last ship, the last segment, you want to arrive as far as possible. And as far as possible is Trieste, which is a gateway to the heart of Europe. You go to Germany, you go to Austria, you go to the Czech Republic, you go to Hungary, you go to Poland, and so on and so forth. And on top of this, Trieste has deep waters, is Porto Franco, means that you don't pay to store the goods, and as one of the highest rate of railway infrastructure behind and beyond the port, is more than 50% of goods already travel on tracks. And this is very important. But on the other side, we can conceive a collaboration between, for example, Marseille and Genoa to reach the western part of Europe. So at the same time, we are talking about Europe, but Italy and also India, we are very interested in engaging Africa, because once again, it's not point to point, it must be a network. So engaging Egypt and all the other countries as we engage the Gulf region. And so we are very interested in Africa, because we are investing a lot, and you are interested because you are a main leader of the global South. So I think that his vision is not utopia, and we are working on concrete things to do.
Significant comments. I'll finish the interview on the people-to-people relationship and the cultural relationship. Now, in terms of the people-to-people relationship, one thing that has stood out is the mobility relationship, something that was in works for a long time. We know the announcement you have mentioned about the nurses as well. Where is the progress currently standing? What is the need of Italy when it comes to the human resource from India? And in terms of the culture, we know that here in India, you have been able to bring historic Italian artifacts, which have seen a lot of people come as well. Are more artifacts in the offing?
So I would mention three dimensions. I had one more. Yes, mobility is a win-win. This is in the facts. Everybody knows you have a huge base in our workforce, of talented workforce, and we are undergoing a demographic decline, and so we have shortages in different crucial sectors of the labor market. So to do it, one has to work properly. We are focusing on nurses, and so there is an ongoing mission now to verify the titles that can be easily recognized to allow the direct employment of Indian nurses. We have to set up a program, and we are working on that, for the language training that is not only specific to nurses, of course, regards the more general professional mobility, because of course people going to Italy must know Italian to interact. And so according to the sector, let's say the most demanding one requires a B2, and so we are setting a program on that. There is culture. I was talking about the necessity to enhance awareness of each other. And this once again regards the two sides. We are doing our homework. We brought last year, we share our gems, our giants that are not Italian artists, are universal artists. So we brought for the first time in India Caravaggio, the inventor of modern painting. We have just brought Botticelli, another giant of earlier Renaissance. We are now hosting two important exhibitions in Humayun's museum in Delhi that I urge you to visit, exactly passing this message of the Indo-Mediterranean. One is called, not by chance, Shared Stories, demonstrating how also art brings the traces of this continued dialogue between Europe and the Mediterranean, in Italy and India. And another one is called One Mother, Many Mother Tongues, and brings together some important sculptures apart from Botticelli, but the painting of Botticelli from Etruscan period, so pre-Roman period, to the Gandhara period here in India, to once again deal with a universal value as motherhood and see the common aspects of our civilizations. And to make it even bigger, the two prime ministers decided that 2027 would be the year of Italian culture and tourism. The two things are linked. Your ministry is culture and tourism. And so we are working on an intense calendar of exhibitions, of workshops, on film screenings, of innovation showcases, even on a cultural forum, which will be at the same time a gathering for cultural institutions because they have to talk more to each other, and also a gathering of companies because there are incredible companies, creative industries, and also companies working in the safeguard and promotion of our cultural heritage. We will sign an MOU on UNESCO sites. We will conceive of an exhibition between Rome and India, and so on and so forth. And when we talk about mobility, is also the mobility of researchers. That's why, and that is my third point, one of the big outcomes of the visit of Prime Minister Modi is the launch of this innovation center. We will create an Italian innovation center in Italy aimed at fostering the dialogue between startups, established innovation-driven companies, and university and research centers. And these implies common projects together, and implies also the exchange of researchers and innovators, and the accompaniment of finance, because without finance, innovation can only remain a very good idea. But we need to make it reality.
So a lot of things expected in 2027, but clearly India-Italy relationship on a very positive trajectory, from defense to mobility to space, and of
innovation, university and research collaboration, and culture. I think when one speaks about a special strategic partnership, means that it has to develop all the sectors 360 degrees, and is demanding, but is also encouraging in terms of interests and results, and we will work hard to make it happen.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Your Excellency, for speaking to WION and giving us an overview of where the relationship stands and where the relationship is looking forward to. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks.